Rob Baker here at Unison Corporation. We're going to talk a little bit about the grind cycles in the Unison Model 2150 control. First thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to hit the F1 key multiple times until the grind cycle selection page comes up. And as you can see, it's the multi-step grind page right here. And what this is basically it's just multi-step plunge grinding. So if you're doing multiple steps in a standard tool, this is the grind cycle you would choose. Next, we're going to use the arrow just to highlight the multi-step grind there, and we're going to hit enter, and this will show you the different cycle pages that we have. Right here is the through feed grind page, which is basically just taking a standard tool that is entirely one diameter and truing it up or making it smaller, the entire length of the tool. We hit enter again. We have the plunge grind, which is just a basic plunge grind. If you're putting a form or if you're just doing a single step, this would be the grind cycle page you would use. We hit enter again and we bring up the surface grind. Basically, this is something you would use by taking the dead true off of the surface grinder and then using it as a CNC surface grinder. If we hit enter again, we got internal grinding. And what this is doing ID grinding, just like it sounds. You would probably use a different fixture, a PGF, and we would rotate it on there and you'd have an ID spindle set up, and this way you could do ID grinding. Next, we have profile grinding. This is when you're doing special shapes. Maybe you're doing some radiuses to an angle, to a flat, to a sharp point. This would be all mostly custom profile work. Next would be ID profile grinding, which is the very same thing as just doing the ID profile. Next we go on to the in-feed grinding. This is when you're grinding a diameter of a tool that maybe has a head or something and you can't do a through feed grind, so then you'd have it roll into the grinding wheel and it would come to a stop and end. Mixed mode is when you could take any of the different modes in the cycle grinding pages and just putting them into multiple forms. If you were going to do a plunge grind into a profile grind, into anything, a surface grind. Profile slice grinding is just like I said, is when you're just doing some profile slicing little pieces at a time. And I believe that's all of the modes.